So welcome to Exodus 19, a nation married to Yah, special edition. I couldn't wait till this week to get back on because I didn't feel like it was fair to hold this information. Excuse my shirt. It's poured down raining. And we had some tents collapsing under the pressure of the water. So right had me running out and helping her to sustain the tents fell down. I didn't want to wait. Like, I don't have the right. Like if somebody had something for me that could benefit me, and they told me that they would wait until next week, uh, I would be on the edge of my seat. So I wanted to do a special edition shot or show to explain to you what I'm experiencing. So the other day, I said that I was tracking a little bit because I am pro speaking on the law. So I'm admitting that I have some percentage of it wrong. Not much, but enough to make a difference. So I wanted to make sure I set the record straight on this. So I've been listening to this pastor, Matthew Nolan, from Torah of the Tribes on YouTube. In the 4 years that I have been under this walk, this is probably one of the best explanations that I could say I've ever heard. And I think that this is another one of the, I can say, building blocks that will change my life forever. And I'm not just saying that, it's literally true. I will never forget how this man, how he broke this message down. And I just want to try to explain it to you to the best of my ability. Because I want to show you why so many people have been putting this under the umbrella of the law and not under the umbrella of the covenant. So remember the little piece that we did a couple of days ago on Yeshua HaMashiach, the high priest. Okay? And like he says, we run so much stuff into each other, we don't take the time, or we just don't notice that there's two different things going on at the same time. So let's get started. Okay, so let me go to Exodus 3. Exodus 3. I didn't change my mouse. And back here. This is Exodus 3. And move all the way down. So if we look at Exodus 3, even Exodus 3:1, it says, "Now Moshe had the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of Yah, even to Horeb. And the angel of Elohim appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside to see this great sight, while the bush is not burned. And when Adonai saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Do not draw hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thy standeth is a holy ground. So just to go back to, let me see, it says, and the angel of Adonai appeared unto him in a flame out of the fire of the midst of the bush, and he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. So it's self-explanatory that Moshe had went up the mountain to see what was going on. So this is the first time that Moshe went up the mountain. And Pastor Matthew had broke it down was this was Yah's call to Moshe to the priesthood. This was Yah's call for Moshe to come into the priesthood. So that's the first time he ascended up into the mountain, right? So now let's go to the second time. So let's go to Exodus 19:3. Exodus 19:3. Angry on this one. Exodus 19:3. It says, in the third month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, and they were departed from Rephidim, and were come into the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mountains. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Adonai called unto him out of the mountains, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I've done did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Right? So we already see in verse 3, 19:3, and Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Adonai called unto him out of the mountain, saying, thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel. So we already can clearly see that Moshe went back up the mountain, and this is the second time. And here is where he tells Yahshua, God tells Moshe to talk to the house of Jacob. This is the second time Moshe went up. And this time, God is telling Moshe to talk to the house of Jacob. So that's 2 times, right? Okay, so now let's go to 19:8. Let's go to Exodus 19:8. This is going to be the third time that Moshe went up. So 19:6, I'm going to start at 6. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests. That's one of the things that you end up being a holy nation. And these are the words which shall speak unto the children, which ye shall speak unto the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and laid before their faces all these words which Adonai commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Adonai has spoken we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Adonai. So he's going back up again. So like I said, this is the third time, and this is when Moshe is bringing back the words of the people together. Right? So this is 3 times. Now let's go to 19:20. 19:20. And start at 16. And it shall come to pass on the 3rd day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mountain, and the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud, so that all the people that was in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought forth the people out of the camp to meet Elohim, and they stood at the nether part of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was altogether on smoke, because Adonai descended upon it in fire, and the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked greatly. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moshe spake, and Elohim answered him by a voice. And Adonai came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain. And Adonai called Moses up to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. So this is the 4th time in Exodus alone that Moshe went back up to the mountain, right? And for this situation here, Moshe warns the people of the covenant boundaries at the base of the mountain not to come near man or animal. It was the fourth time Moshe went up the mountain, right? And this is all I'm just trying to point out. I'm just trying to get you to see something. I couldn't wait till next week to show you this. Now let's go to Exodus 20, 21. Exodus 20, 21. I always like to start 5 verses ahead. So we're going to do Exodus 20, 16. Okay? It says, "Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's." And all the people saw the thundering and the lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moshe, "Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die." And Moshe said unto the people, "Fear not, for Elohim is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your eyes, that ye sin not." Okay? So again, we see that Moshe said, so he's up there again, right? No, I'm sorry. So 21, so we're going to do 20, we're doing 21, right? We're 21. So next one's 21. "And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick cloud where Yah was." So he went back up. So this is the 5th time that he went back up, right? And this is to cover from this point to Exodus 23:33, because we're in Exodus 20:21, all the way to Exodus 23:33. This is based on the covenant, right? This is the covenant that Yah made with Abraham in Genesis. And I didn't take you to this chapter, but remember when Yah was talking to Abraham and he made him promises of him being the father of many nations. And then what Pastor Nolan pointed out was when Abraham went back and he asked Yah, "How would I know that these things are going to happen?" Remember, and if you go back, and I'll possibly point that out or read that next week, or when he went back and asked Yah, "How would I know?" That was merely a question as far as Abraham is concerned, but Yah took it like a lack of faith. He said, "Oh, so you want proof that this is going to happen? So go and get some animals, divide them in half, and now there's going to be conditions." Because in Exodus 12, when he told him this was unconditional, Abraham didn't have to do anything. Man didn't have to do anything. This was just a promise that Yah was going to do for man unconditionally. So I hope I said Genesis 12. So Genesis 15, when Abraham comes back to Yah, Yah now makes this conditional. Go and get particular animals, cut them down the middle, lay them out, and now this is going to be conditional. So when you guys mess up, you're going to have penalties. So right now in Exodus 3 to right now in Exodus 20, he's just laying out. I'm showing you how Moshe went up the mountain, and I'm showing you how the whole covenant matter is just laying out. Okay? So now let's go to Exodus 24:9. Exodus 24:9. Taking a long time. 24:9. And I'm going to start at Exodus 24:6. "And Moshe took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. And he took the book of the covenant and read in the audience of the people, and they said, all that Elohim Adonai has said we will do and be obedient. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people and said, behold, the blood of the covenant which Adonai had made with you concerning all these words, these promises that you're making. Right? It says, then went Moshe and Aaron and Nahab and Abihu and 70 of the elders of Israel, and they saw Adonai of Israel, and there was under his feet, as it were, a paved work of sapphire stone, and as it were, the body of heaven in his clearness. So they went back up again. This is the sixth time. And this is for the blood of the covenant. It's almost like they agreed to it, and then it was ready in a couple of days. They went up and they got the blood of the covenant, and they had a covenant confirming meal. They ate and agreed on this matter. And it was already, and it was, as we already seen, it was already blood ratified, which means this covenant could not be added to and it could not be subtracted from. Yeah, this is deep. And this is all based on the covenant. So right now the covenant is good. The law is not existing yet. No punishment, no nothing yet, right? So they had, Moshe went back up. He picked up the book of the covenant, and they had a covenant confirming meal. And now we already seen that the covenant was blood ratified. It was a binding there. You can't add to the covenant. You can't take away from the covenant. And the way that the Pastor Nolan was saying was, he said it's almost like when Abraham sacrificed those animals in Genesis 15, that red ribbon when they cut the building for opening for a new building, it's like that red ribbon is cut. Now they're under covenant. And just like in a marriage, when you have the groomsmen on one side, you have the bride's ladies on the other side, and you have that flesh, and then the couple is standing and walking down the middle. It's replicating in marriage. It replicates the sacrifice of those animals that Abraham did when he laid them out. And then the Bible says that Yahshua walked through the midst of those animal parts, right? He flayed them open. All right. So now let's go to Exodus 24:12. And I'm going to read from 11. And upon the nobles of the children of Israel, he laid not his hands. Also they saw Elohim, and he did eat and drink. This is the covenant confirming meal. He did eat and drink, right? And Adonai said unto Moshe, come up to me unto the mountain and be there, and I will give thee the tables of stone, 1, and the law, 2, and the commandments which I have written, that thou mayest teach them. And Moshe rose up in his ministers, Joshua. Moshe went up into the mountain of Elohim. And the elders said unto he said unto the elders, tarry ye here for us until we come again unto you. And behold, Aaron and Hur are with you. If any man have any matters to do, let him come unto him. And Moshe went up into the mount, and a cloud covered the mount. So this is the 7th time that Moshe went up the mount. And this time is to receive the first 7 tablets and the imposed law, along with the tabernacle instructions. The law is not blood ratified. Just the covenant is blood ratified. The people never agreed to it. It was imposed on them for the golden calf, which, if you read your word, you'll see that the golden calf happens in the next chapter. Let me see it. In Exodus 32. So let's go there now. Exodus 32:1. Exodus 32. Yeah. So I have to use my manually. Okay. Exodus 32, 1. And when the people saw that Moshe delayed to come down out of the mount, the people gathered themselves together unto Aaron and said unto him, Up, make us gods, which shall go before us. For as for this Moshe, the man that brought us up out of the hand of land, we know not what is become of him. And Aaron said unto them, Break off the golden earrings which are in the ears of your wives, your sons, and of your daughters, and bring them unto me. And all the people brake off the golden earrings which were in their ears, and brought them unto Aaron. And he received them at their hand, and fashioned it with a graving tool, after he had made it a molten calf. And they said, This be thy gods, O Israel, which brought thee up out of the land of Egypt. Right? And when Aaron saw it, he built an altar before it. And Aaron made proclamation and said, Tomorrow is the feast to Adonai. Right? So this is the this is when now the golden calf has been formed. Right? Moshe is still up in the mountain with Yah. So he's not a part of this. Right? So this is starting now to where Yah, if you remember, tells Moshe, your people messed up. So now they just now invoke the judgment, the law part of this covenant. If you break it, now these things come upon you, right? So let's go to Exodus 32, 31. Okay. It says, And Moshe returned unto Adonai and said, Oh, these people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of the book which thou hast written. And Adonai said unto Moshe, Whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. Therefore, now go, lead the people unto the place of which I have spoken unto thee. Behold, my angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I visit, I will visit their sin upon them. And Adonai plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made. So this is Moshe's last time. This is his ninth time. And it's explained that this is the time that Moshe, the last Melchizedek, intercedes for the people. He's asking Yah not to destroy them, not to fulfill the down part, the sinful part of the people's sin. You see this? You see this? So now let's go to Exodus 34. Exodus 34, 1. And Adonai said unto Moshe, Hew thee 2 tables of stone like unto the first, because you know that Moshe threw them down, right? And I will write upon these tables the words that were in the first tables, which shall break, and be ready in the morning. Come up in the morning unto Mount Sinai, and present thyself there to me in the top of the mount. And no man shall come up with thee, neither let any man be seen throughout all the mount, neither let the flocks or the herds feed before the mount. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moshe rose up early in the morning and went up to Mount Sinai as Adonai had commanded him, and took in his hand the 2 tablets of stone. And Adonai descended in the clouds and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Adonai. Right? So the way that Pastor Nolan is explaining this is that from Genesis to Exodus 23:8 or 23:9. So from Genesis 1 to Exodus 23:9 is all covenant. When Yah's talking to Abraham, this is all covenant based, right? When he's talking to Moshe later on, still covenant based, right? You see later on, after talking to Moshe and everything is laid out, there's a blood ratification based on the covenant, right? Because nobody did anything wrong there. But the law is still tagging on just in case somebody did. That's the penalty. As long as you're paying your electric bill, you're under the covenant with the electric company to keep the electrical. As soon as you get a certain amount of money behind, that is always looming over your head that if you don't pay your electric bill, the law is I can turn it off. So as long as you pay it, we got a good covenant. But when you fail, you get behind for whatever reason, and you don't contact us, we can enforce the law and turn your lights off. So from Genesis 1:1 to Exodus 23:9 is covenant. When they went down the mountain, when they went at the base of the mountain and they built the golden calf because they didn't know why Moshe was taking so long, they sinned. And I believe it was 30 to 40 days after they made the covenant. They sinned. Now the law is invoked. So from Genesis 1:1 to 23:9, we should be living under the covenant. I've always taken everything and I lumped everything into one ball and made everything the law. And I said to you the other day that Yah sliced off the Levitical priesthood, and we'll get more into that next week. But just think about what I'm saying. Loving God, loving your neighbors, that's like everything is hung on that. It's not about sacrifice, it's not. But here's the thing. The feast days are included. And then you find more information on how to do it in Leviticus without the Levitical part of it. The Sabbath is included. So don't think because you got the Sabbath in the first set that was written on the stones, right? The Sabbath is in there. And I'll explain it to more as I go. I just wanted to get this out. Man, this is already 30 minutes. But I hope that you guys can see what this pastor is preaching. Man, this is my foundation now. So I won't be saying that you have to follow the law. You have to go back. Yah and Abraham talk based on a covenant, not on the law. The law came later. But the way the Bible is written, it seems like it's just all one thing. Because you even see in Exodus 16:33, Exodus 16:33, that the book of the law goes into the side of the Ark of the Covenant. And the commandments, the stone tablets, went inside of it. I just wanted to get this out here because I just wanted to see if this could bless you or not. I know it blessed me, man. I know it blessed me. So I hope you guys have a blessed Sabbath. Well, it's not even Sabbath anymore, but I hope you guys have a blessed Sabbath. This is Exodus 19, A Nation Married to Yah, special edition. Good night.